SFU's honorary degree is the highest honor conferred by this university. Honorary degrees are awarded to distinguished individuals in recognition of their scholarly, scientific, or artistic achievement, or in recognition of exceptional contribution to the public good through professional or philanthropic activities. Honorary degree recipients' achievements celebrate what the university values and serve as an inspiration and role model to our graduates, our students, and to our community. The honorary degree will now be conferred. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Ken Lertzman to present the honorary degree candidate, Mr. Andy MacKinnon. Dr. Lertzman is a professor in the School of Resource and Environmental Management. He's also the director of the Hakai Network for Coastal People, Ecosystems, and Management. Dr. Lertzman.
Mr. President, it is my distinct honor to present to you Mr. Andy MacKinnon. For decades, Mr. MacKinnon has been one of British Columbia's foremost public intellectuals in the realm of natural history, forest sustainability, and conservation. Andy has a distinguished career in public service in British Columbia and has made significant contributions to forest policy and forest science. Working for the BC Forest Service, he was the government's advisor on issues related to old-growth forests for much of the last 20 years. Through British Columbia's most turbulent periods of environmental politics, Andy has been a consistent, strong voice within government for conservation and for science-based decision-making. An ardent supporter of higher education, Andy has a long association with SFU. He's been an adjunct professor in the School of Resource and Environmental Management since 1991, where he has mentored generations of graduate students. Andy is a talented and committed teacher and has taught many courses through several universities, though he's best known for his courses in temperate rainforest ecology at Bamfield and in Haida Gwaii. Andy has an outstanding record of scientific publications addressing both fundamental issues and applied problems. However, he's better known to the public for a series of guidebooks to plant ecology and identification. The book, The Plants of Coastal British Columbia, has become a veritable Bible for naturalists from California through Alaska and was a Canadian bestseller in its first year of publication. Plant guides on which Andy was an author have sold more than 500,000 copies. Remember, this is for guides to plant identification. Andy is deeply engaged with the public outside the university. He has been a board member and advisor for numerous conservation-oriented community groups and is in great demand as a speaker and a field trip leader. Especially in the fall, he's busy almost every weekend, giving talks, leading walks, and being the star guest at mushroom festivals. It's hard to imagine how Andy manages to put so much energy, so effectively, into so many different kinds of activities. Andy MacKinnon has not only made a difference at the university and in government, but in forest conservation and resource stewardship on the ground. Naturalists, researchers, students, resource managers, and activists all hold him in awe. Andy personifies SFU's core values of excellence in research and education and engagement in critical public policy issues. Mr. President, on behalf of the Senate of this university, I now ask you to confer upon Andy MacKinnon the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Andy MacKinnon, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Dr. MacKinnon will be hooded by Dr. John Driver, Vice President Academic, and Dr. Tim Raleigh, Associate Vice President Students. Wait for the Congratulations. Well done. Thanks so much. Go over and sign the book. Picture. It is now my great pleasure to call on Dr. Andy MacKinnon for his convocation address. Dr. MacKinnon. Over to you.
Thanks very much. First of all, congratulations to all of the graduates gathered here today. Well done. You're receiving your degrees from a celebrated university with a reputation not just for intellectual rigor, but also for turning out well-rounded graduates who have gone on to change the world, or at least are a beautiful part of it. And thank you, Simon Fraser University, for this great honor. Now, apparently, being awarded an honorary degree implies that I have something useful to impart to keen and accomplished graduates and families, something about my endeavors so far that would merit investing about 5 minutes of your time. So, here's my message to you. Don't be a dry ball. So, what's a dry ball? Some of you may be familiar with the quotation. I'll let the American author John Steinbeck explain it. This is from an excellent book entitled The Log from the Sea of Cortez, published in 1951. And it's about biologists, and we have many biologists graduating today, but I think the quote has broader application. So, from the Sea of Cortez. We sat on a crate of oranges and thought, what good men most biologists are. The tenors of the scientific world. Temperamental, moody, lecherous, loud laughing, and healthy. Once in a while, one comes on the other kind, what used in the university to be called a dry ball. But such men are not really biologists. They are the embalmers of the field, the picklers, who see only the preserved form of life without any of its principle. Out of their own crusted minds, they create a world wrinkled with formaldehyde. The true biologist deals with life, with teeming, boisterous life, and learns something from it. Learns that the first rule of life is living. The dry balls cannot possibly learn a thing that every starfish knows in the core of his soul and in the vesicles between his rays. He must, so know the starfish and the student biologist who sits at the feet of living things, proliferate in all directions. Having certain tendencies, he must move along their lines to the limit of their potentialities. And we have known biologists who did proliferate in all directions. One or two have had a little trouble about it. Your true biologists will sing you a song as loud and off-key as will a blacksmith, for he knows that morals are too often diagnostic of prostatitis and stomach ulcers. Sometimes he may proliferate a little too much in all directions, but he is as easy to kill as any other organism. And meanwhile, he is very good company, and at least he does not confuse a low hormone productivity with moral ethics. I've spent the better part of the last 30 years studying and writing about BC's species and ecosystems, often sitting at the feet of living things and occasionally proliferating in all directions. And I've spent much of the last 2 decades also embroiled in debates and discussions about BC's land allocation and use, especially along our magnificent coast. Along the way, I've worked with many terrific SFU students and faculty, especially in the School of Resource and Environmental Management. And here I would like to mention my frequent collaborator, one of my best friends, and my orator today, Dr. Ken Lertzman. Thank you. Our understanding of these ecosystems and our approach to managing them over the last 30 years has become richer, deeper, and in the end, immensely more satisfying than our understandings of 30 years ago. We have a fundamentally different understanding of the structure, the composition, and the function of old-growth forests than we had back 3 decades, when they were still considered to be overmature and decadent. 6% protected areas in the province gave way to 12% protected areas, and more recently 33% in Clayoquot Sound and in the Great Bear Rainforest, and 52% in Haida Gwaii. This has all happened in the last 20 years. Provincial government management of land use plans has given way to co-management with First Nations in the Great Bear Rainforest and in Haida Gwaii. Forestry, as usual, is being replaced in these areas by ecosystem-based management, whatever that may turn out to look like. I was offered a chance to retire on a full pension last summer. I can't. It's just such an exciting time right now for research and management in our province. That's the world that you folks are graduating into. Lucky you. SFU has always turned out students who can make a difference. I'm certain that this will include many people here today. One of the great thinkers and writers of the 18th century Scottish Enlightenment, David Hume, had what I consider to be some important observations about science and society. So I'll close with a quote from the great Scottish philosopher David Hume. It seems then, as nature has pointed out, a mixed kind of life as most suitable to the human race. Indulge your passion for science, says she, but let your science be human, and such as may have a direct reference to action and to society. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Andrew.